This reading is for Sagittarius for the month of November 2021. Hello, Sag. How are you? And happy birthday to those of you that are November babies. How exciting you get to enter your own personal new year. But for most of the month, you are going to be under what I would call a 12th house sun. So it's interesting because it's the sun, which is so synergesic with the fire energy of the Sagittarius, but everybody's hanging out in the 12th house this month, which, hey, sometimes it's really good to be there, right? And especially since you're fire and the sun shines so bright, there may be some shining into dark places this month. And that's a good thing, you know, because you can see what wants to be cleaned up. You can see all those dust bunnies that you've been ignoring that have been giving you allergies. Cosmic dust bunnies, psychological dust bunnies. It's time to see where those are and clean them. So don't be surprised if you're feeling a little more inward focused this month, a little more sensitive, a little more emotional. It's exactly where you're supposed to be. And the universe is actually supporting you and being there because it's good for you. All right, let's see what's supporting you this month. So your supportive force in November is the Magician. How exciting. So the Magician is a very interesting energy because it really is about the individual with the Magician. You know, the Magician can will things into existence, but it's usually a very self-propelling energy, right? It's not, the Magician isn't getting their information from other people telling him what to do. In fact, oftentimes the Magician goes out and starts doing something and everyone around him is like, what the hell is this person doing? But eventually, you know, they create this life that they're dreaming about, and then they end up having people following him there. When at first they're like, what are they doing? Later on, they're following them. This is really about being a really, in some ways, well, I don't think self-actualized is quite what I'm looking for, because I think there's magicians that don't really know themselves at all. They just use their will. But generally, it's good, and it's very good for you this month to be the captain of your own ship. And there's also magic involved because the world is filled with magic. Fascinating. Right on the heels of the Magician, the challenge is the High Priestess. Now, how could the High Priestess be a challenge? Well, it would be if you weren't listening to yourself. So it's going to be really important as you move forward. And, you know, I guess what I will say, in addition to being in the 12th house this month, maybe some things will come up that maybe you really don't feel like you want to look at, but the High Priestess is going to be like, yeah, well, if you want to be a fully functioning human, you got to look at this, okay? And again, that's a 12th house sun. That was probably the challenge that they're talking about with the High Priestess for you this month. And, well, this is all about romance. And what do I pull? The Two of Cups. So many of you are just going to have really good love luck this month. Whether you're in a long-term relationship or you're looking for love or you're in a new situation, this is such a good omen for love. What else? What other information is there for you? Fire. Air. Earth. All the elements. Okay. Oh, and you have the star. Oh, Sag, the thing that really draws me is that you are the star this month. I love that. What this means, though, is that you are having extra special protection, extra special blessings this month in your life. And so for any of you who have been going through a harder time, sometimes some people, it's a little deep to go through a 12th house period. Don't worry, you're protected, you're fine. Everything is for your benefit in the end, right? Now, moving over here, what I see is a lot of movement. You know, and even like this energy, this fire movement energy, there is a propelling into the future happening in the middle of this reading, okay? Your eyes are on new shores, and there may be a restlessness underneath to start heading over to some new territory in your life. And because right now you built up a really secure situation, sometimes with Sag, if things feel too secure, they get a little restless. So the deal here is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. What's happening is that there's some urge for personal growth happening here. And you have done a really good job of building up some stable foundations for yourself. If you're feeling restless, don't destroy your foundations. Go into the new territory where you're going to find interest and revitalization and things like this. Now, this can be spiritual, this can be occupational, maybe it's relational, but it feels to me that for many of you, it's more about your own inner journey and finding new territory that's really interesting to you. Now, we have this guy out here in your outcome. And when this shows up, it just means that there may be some things going on that have been a little bit out of control, and it's time to sort of either, you know, that can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. But oftentimes with this energy, it's something in your life that you need to put some time into controlling, okay? So whatever that may be, you know, you don't have to be a full-blown addict or anything, but, you know, how much time are you spending on the computer? You know, how much time are you eating junk food? I mean, things like that. So there may be issues coming up for you this month around, and this, again, is a very 12th house thing, subconscious cravings, subconscious desires, and how you deal with that. Now, on a bit of a different note, too, you know, this big message here, this is the party card, all right? So I'm just going to say the holidays are coming up, and so on a lighter note, just try not to overdo it, okay? Because when you combine these two energies, you may feel like you want to party like a rock star, but you may need to, you know, keep that in check. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, please subscribe, and I will be checking back in next month. Oh, and one final message. If you feel trapped, you're never trapped, okay? You always have choice. All right, bye, Sag.